quickly, in the next few slides, I will discuss the type of the skins present in the different groups of the animals which we have already studied from the chordate group. Okay, let's start our comparative studies of the chordate integument. The first of all, the jawless fish. You remember the examples of lamprey and hagfish. They have relatively thick skin, but they are smooth skins. There are no scales present, and they have specialized glandular cells that secrete extra mucus on the skin and have the cuticular waterproofing on their skin. Okay, so that's the first type of the animals which have very smooth but thick skin, leathery skin, and have cuticular epidermis on top of that to provide water barrier, and have specialized multicellular glands that secrete large amount of the mucus to cover the body. The cartilaginous fish, we remember that sandpaper-like appearance because of presence of those dermal scales or placoid scales which are closely packed to give them rigid appearance. Similarly, some of those scales are evolved to become the teeth of the animal. Skin of the bony fish, we know their skin are permeable and can be used in the gaseous exchange. Mucus are at help in fighting off bacterial and fungal infection at the surface, right? So they have the mucus glands as well. Also contain the scales that are dermal in nature, provides water barrier, and thin layer of dermal tissue overlaid the superficial epidermis normally covers the scale. तो स्केल के ऊपर कुछ छोटी सी एपिडर्मिस की लेयर्स भी होती है. अभी जो हमने पहले डर्मल स्केल्स पढ़े तो उसमें अब ब्लूइश लेयर, रिमेंबर दैट ब्लूइश लेयर ऑन टॉप ऑफ द स्केल्स. Then the skin of the amphibians, that is thin, highly vascularized skin, and you may remember that we said they have cuticular cutaneous respiration. It is only because the skin has many blood vessels in it and they can diffuse oxygen from the air in and release CO2 from their blood towards the outer atmosphere. It is stratified epidermis and is a dermis containing mucus, poison glands plus pigmentation cells, right? So frogs में आपने देखा है many colorful or vivid colors के frogs होते हैं. They have poisonous glands as well. So they are all integumentary adaptations of the animal. Scales are mostly absent except one species. और वो कौन सी species है? Caecilians, the enlarged earthworm looking reptiles. Remember? So they are the only examples of the amphibians that have scales on its skin. Then reptiles, their skin reflects the greater commitment to the terrestrial existence because reptiles are those which first moved away from the water source, so they become literally in contact with the detrimental environmental conditions of the dry land. So they have to pull their body on the land. That provides more abrasion and injury to the skin. They were in direct contact with the dry air and they were in the direct sunlight, so they have to develop a mechanism for better protection. So what happens that their epidermis becomes more thicker, more cornified, and there are no glands present in it, but they have developed more keratinized scales or bony plates or plaques on it. So that gives them more protection against those all environmental hazards. Skin of the bird is quite unique because it has a tuft of feathers or the layer of the feather on it which has multiple functions in spite of providing flight. They also help the animal to keep the internal temperature constant. So birds are the first which are endothermic, so they have a specialized mechanism of keeping their heat inside the body by using their feather layer. So the feathers basically trap the hot air within the spaces of those feathers and insulate the body. Feathers are strong but yet lightweight to provide aerodynamic features of the flight. Also they have different color cells, color pigments in those feathers, like the varied patterns, colors, textures and shapes of the feathers helps the animal to attract their mates, to have the social status and to identify the intruders of their own species. Some birds have plumage that blend in with their surroundings to provide camouflage, helping these birds to escape the predator attack. And lastly, the mammal skin that is has notable features including hair, the variety of the epidermal glands. Then in the other vertebrate class, they have high stratified cornified epidermis, and the dermis may many times thicker than the epidermis. The prevention of the dehydration is one of the evolutionary reasons mammals and other animals have been able to colonize terrestrial environment. Right, sweat glands are present in these animals. So that was all about the different types of the skins.